I am Laura and happy Memorial Day. So today I'm just gonna cut some things off of some sprues. It's one of the last sprues from the Elven Woods box from the Encounters Kickstarter. I think they've had 3 now since then. It was the one before the Dew Slayer. I use these Citadel tool snippers. They're nice and sharp. They're expensive, but they're definitely worth it if you have a lot that you are going to be clipping off of sprues. This is basically like a whole campsite of everything that's on this sprue. Basically, is like a nice little campsite. Got a couple of tents. A couple beds. Got a nice campfire, and then other little like fences or just, general scatter terrain. It'll be perfect because I do have a pretty likely encounter that will be in a campsite. How fast they travel, how fast the players travel will depend whether or not the NPCs get time to set up some of this stuff. But and this seems like it might be like someone's knapsack. If you look on the back side of it, yeah, definitely a bag looking on this side. And this is probably, like what would be actually against your back. Maybe some of the things here are actually straps if you look closely. Kind of hard to see right now. I think you can get everything that came as a set in the Elven Woods in the same set. I know you can also get the trees themselves just separate in a tree pack. This is Dungeons and Lasers, in case you're wondering. Some fun little stumps people would have cut to sit on. So yeah, we'll get these all cut off. I'll get them kind of cleaned up. Got a X-Acto knife that I use for that carefully. I ended up getting all the trees done over the weekend, so that's why I'm not working on those instead. So those are done. I haven't posted any pictures yet of the finished product. I did post kind of an in progress at one point over the weekend. Sometimes you have to be careful of paying attention when you're cutting things off. Make sure you're not cutting off something that's actually part of the design. Well, these don't have quite so much of that, just because a lot of these are just kind of standalone pieces. The tents aren't, but I don't really have, on these guys they don't have any pegs, that these are like meant to stay on. The caves definitely had there were a lot of things where it had like little pegs and stuff that you wanted to not clip off because they were like traps or crystals and stuff like that to be able to add in. Just noticed there's a little sword. That's cool. Today's been pretty relaxed for me. Still doing some chores that I typically do, but I did a little extra painting today. So I finished up the trees because of that. There wasn't much left to do on those though, even before today. So I was already kind of planning on doing this for a stream, at least for part of it. All right, double checking. There's nothing left on sprue. I'll just kind of get these cleaned up. These are just on the bottom of what this actually will stand on. So I'm just mainly trying to get it so it's pretty smooth and level, so it'll stand decently on its own. A little bit more focused there. Let's see. I can zoom in a little bit now. And there was one here. Got a couple across top here. And I think this is another. It doesn't look like it's supposed to be part of the design. Okay. I'm going to set that off to the side so I know that it's done. I mean, if I were to look over it, I would probably realize, oh, this obviously was probably already done. I'm worried about this part here of it breaking off. So, the nice thing of having something like this is a cutting mat. No, that needs to come off. That is not part of. For a second, I thought this was part of the design. But it needs to sit like it'll sit at an angle. Kind of curious if it's a pretty steep angle, so I'm kind of curious if it'll have to lean against something. Their stuff is usually pretty well designed, I think. Sometimes there's some interesting design choices, but otherwise they're usually pretty well designed. There's especially in encounters, there were like a handful of minis that I've seen people mention to just not pay attention to the instructions, that they actually aren't as helpful, but I mean, there's also, you know, it's like a handful out of like hundreds of things. Yeah, that's gonna be something that's gonna lean against something else. But kind of cool. There's another one like that, so I wonder if you could just interlock them. There's also this too. Let's see. I'll figure out something. Oh, I just noticed this isn't exactly the same because this has like a thing going across. I don't know if like having two of them together would help or not. Let's put this over here. We are sort of kind of getting the ball moving with our tabletop RPG weekend, so that is good. And we're gonna probably try and find a different way of communicating. There are people who are having trouble for some weird things happening when they try to log into Discord, which is what we had been using to kind of communicate. But kind of need something that everyone can maybe is already using or can easily get on. I think we probably want to avoid doing the whole like just a text messaging group or emailing, because that can get kind of hard to keep track of things. At least that's how I feel. But if that's what works for everyone, then that's what we'll use. Of course, maybe we won't even need like a in-person meeting or anything. I mean, we do need to figure out something to an alternate communication thing, but that probably could be figured out. Just in texting. Like and it would be nice to, so we're gonna try and get an in-person meeting scheduled to kind of just make sure everything has someone who's going to be taking charge of it, so that we're not like, you know, getting close to the deadline of when that would need to be getting done and be like, so did anyone take charge of that, and then have to scramble because the answer is no, or like, oh, I thought someone else was going to take charge of it. And if we can get like an in-person meeting, it can be nice if there's like maybe someone who needs help, you know, with whatever it is we decide that everyone or a majority of people can use. Then, you know, that, or maybe is already using, and then some of the others just kind of try and create an account. I don't know. Just hopefully it doesn't run into the same thing where people have weird issues. But part of me wonders if it has something to do with the mobile app itself, like signing in on the mobile app, or I don't know, for Discord, that is. Because one person I know of, they keep being prompted and can't do anything because it's telling them to verify or and input an email address or something to verify the account. It's already been done, and so she'll put in the email, of course, that she's using, and then it's pops up saying it's already in use or something weird, and sounds like support has not been helpful. I haven't looked it up myself, actually. I had thought about it. I keep reading. But I know others have had problems with getting onto Discord. Which is interesting. I mean, it's been around long enough that it's kind of weird that there is still some like just weird kinks like that. And it's also not seemingly inconsistent too. I haven't decided yet what colors I'm going to paint these in, but I think I'm going to go pretty natural looking. No dyed leathers on these. It's cool, you can kind of see like it's like stitched together pieces of hide. These will be important because especially up here to get them nice and well done. Yeah, there would be these two pieces. These are gonna match up together. Yeah, I think these are, and they will once I get those cleaned off. Okay. And if there's time, we'll do some gluing as well. It's mainly just the tents that I'll glue. Are meant to be glued for sure. Maybe that might be what there could be an option to help those other pieces to stay up, to kind of have it so that the ends are leaning on the other piece. This one that stands up just fine. Not sold on that idea though. Oh, no, those are not the two. They're two of the same size, not two different sides. Thought I had one of the other side. That it was one of the other sides that I had done before. Okay, now we can see if this looks like it's really good fit together. I downloaded the basic terrain pack on 2 Minute Tabletop. It's a like a battle map thing that you can, if you use the Dungeon Mapper online tool, which they have linked in their FAQ of how to print the stuff. You can easily actually use it to print it out at the scale it's supposed to be. I feel like they're pretty well known, but maybe there's people out there who aren't aware about it. But I mean, they can also be used. My understanding is they can also be used with various like online things like Roll20, such. I don't really do that, so I don't know. I know of Roll20. I feel like they're like the big one. But I know there's lots of other ones too. Oh, make sure you wash your hands. As a little side note, after you do stuff like this. Especially like actual resin stuff. I don't think that this is, it's not PLA either. They're very like, they're very clear about that. It's some sort of a like plastic though. It does say it on the boxes. I just can never remember because it's not something I've really heard of or run into much before. But yeah, I had something weird was happening with the links on my order from the 2 Minute Tabletop, so I had to contact them. But they're really great customer service and got things fixed for me. So definitely very cool looking stiff. I thought about getting like the Oceans pack because that's specifically what I was needing, because we must have thrown away our battle map that was just kind of basically a open water battle map. Which is something I will potentially need. It is not a for sure. Depends what jobs players take, because I'm pretty confident they're wanting to buy stuff, but I don't think any of them have much money. I think all but one had put like marked moderate living style. So it's not going to be very much starting money. So that's basically what D&D Beyond uses. It now will give you some starting money. It's because it is supposed to be kind of more of the idea of you have been living life and now for whatever reason you are going out and adventuring. So it makes sense to have some starting money, unless the reason that you were going out adventuring is because you were robbed or lost your entire fortune in a fire or something. The super tragic backstory. Hopefully I'm not scaring any of you too much with how I'm using the X-Acto knife. I don't recommend this being how others do this. I'm just really used to using hobby knife. I am doing my best to actually keep my fingers out of the way. Even though maybe it doesn't look like it, but all right, this one last little log thing. Still like the campfire and these beds and this little rucksack. Hiking backpack. It's definitely a bit more heavy duty than a regular backpack. Hey, okay. These probably wouldn't take too long, but I'm just gonna go ahead and stop since we are kind of at that usual stopping time. All the little bits of plastic. I do always, so along with washing my hands, I do always then also like do a complete wipe down of my area, the area down here. Because I don't want to be getting any of that stuff in my paint, which would then mess up paint jobs and stuff. And this is what I've found work really well for this type of, some type of plastic. So yeah, I know others will use like plastic cement, but I don't want to get like super specialized specific glue, or at least I was basically kind of looking for something that wouldn't be too specialized. So this I can find at Walmart. I'm guessing you can probably find it at other hobby stores even. And yeah, so that's it for today. Thursday we'll probably work on this guy. Just got to start on him today as well. Wasn't sure if I was going to. It's my husband's character for a Draw Steel campaign that we're in. So yeah. So stay tuned. Come back Thursday at 1:15 p.m. Central Time. We'll be working on this guy. He did kind of go a little bit sci-fi because the race he chose was like kind of, I forget what it's technically called, but it's like a weird kind of alienish type race. He technically has like 4 arms, but he always keeps the other ones underneath his coat. So anyway, and I'll put social stuff in chat. If you wanna see what I'm working on in between things, I'll probably try and get a video, or at least pictures up of the finished trees, so that y'all can see that. And then still haven't thought about what I'll do for next for a paint to sell mini. So it kind of also depends too on how far along I am next week with the things I want for my next session of the campaign I'm running. So yeah, but Thursday for sure it will be the mini for my husband's character. So come back Thursday, and I hope you have a good next couple of days. Bye.